revelations, it is one revelation put into a nutshell. And the culminating event is that when it's all over down here, I will be with Jesus forever. Understanding about the book of Genesis, it is divided into two major sections. We find chapter 1 through chapter 11 deals with first things. We have the first day, we have the first man, we have the first woman, we have the first marriage, we have the first set of twins, we have the first murder, we have the first flood. We got a whole lot of first things going on there. And also we find in chapter 12 through 50, now we deal with the patriarchal fathers. We start off with our good old boy Abraham, and we thank God for Abe, because without Abe, we would not know how to walk out into nothing on a word from God, because Abraham moved from being the father of many to the father of many nations. Then he deposited to us a son named Isaac, who was the son of promise. And he taught us through Isaac that sometimes you may have to sacrifice the blessing that God has given unto you. But if you know God and show you know him, then what you are sacrificing will come out better in the end. And then we leave from Isaac, and there most of us meet our good friend Jacob. He is the trickster, he is the deceiver, and we're more like Jacob than we are Israel, but yet we shout like Israel, but we live like Jacob. We're trickster, deceiver, we're messed up, we got some problems, we got hidden agendas, but yet when God get through working on us, we come out looking like Israel. And then we finally find ourselves with my good friend Joseph. And Joseph is wonderful because it is Brother Joseph who has a vision, but who has to go through hell before he receives his destiny. Oh, anybody know what I'm talking about tonight? Now on tonight, I want to leave with us 4 thoughts. When I was sharing this message and my time with God, there are 4 thoughts that came and popped out after me. And these 4 thoughts, I got these themes from our presiding bishop, which he calls his 4 ingredients for success. Understand, Joseph used these 4 principles in order to make it from disaster to destiny. I want you to understand, if you have been a Christian for 10 minutes, you understand what a disaster is. Now, only way you don't understand what a disaster is, you haven't been walking with God. Because there is no way you can walk with God and not experience a disaster. Matter of fact, disasters don't really hit until you start walking with God. But that is God's way of revealing himself to us. So he used a disaster that he may unveil himself, that we may know who he is. So when another disaster comes, we don't have to go down in the valley, but we can stand with our heads up and declare that the Lord is king. He rules. He's in control. He's our master. He's our provider. He's our sustainer. So I thank God tonight for every disaster. Our first viewpoint we want to see, we ought to understand, number 1, you must have a high idea. Or translated, is simply called a vision. You will never leave disaster without a vision. Now, the key component of this is not just any vision, but it has to be a God-given vision. Because if the truth be told, if you're really working in ministry, none of us are doing what we thought we would be doing. Because I thought I would have been the next Max Robinson on ABC News, not realizing that God wanted me to broadcast to the saints. So you got to understand, when you really line up with God, it's no longer your vision, but it is his vision. And when it becomes his vision, that's where the struggle is, because I got to give up what I want to do and what I like to do what God is calling me to do. And matter of fact, I don't even want to do what God is calling me to do. And if he would leave me alone, I would be satisfied. But something on the inside grabs a hold of me and says, you're going to do what he says. Genesis chapter 39, verse 5 through 10, we find out Joseph's vision. In his vision, it is so simple. He says here in the text, and it came to pass in verse 5 through 10, Genesis chapter 37, he says here in the text here, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated